Hey everybody, I'm so glad you are here. I am Tammy, I'm the Siberian Wind, and I do quilting stuff mostly, but I'm glad you're here. I want to say hi to everybody that's in the chat. I've got Joyce Hernandez, Charlotte, Glenda, I've got It's Kennedy, I've got Laura, I've got Mona Did What. Thank you everybody who's already been in the chat, already commented. I am looking at that while I'm doing all of this. Giovanna's here. Hi Giovanna, I'm glad you are here. So this has been a week. That's just the easiest way to say it. It has been a week. So I think I told you guys last Tuesday that I'm not going to move, that we're going to stay right where we are, but that doesn't mean that we're not moving things around. So things are kind of in disarray right now. So bear with me if we have technical difficulties or if you're having trouble hearing me, let me know. The mic is right here tonight. It's not maintainable there, like that's not a long-term solution, but I am moving things around. So I saw that Charlotte spent the afternoon at her quilt group at the local library. That is always fun, getting to spend time with everybody out. Guess who Nancy just joined the chat? Glad you are here. And a lot of people are saying the quilt is beautiful and it's gorgeous. Yes, it is. Okay, so this is that Elizabeth Hartman that we have been working on. So I don't know how well it's showing up on camera because, again, I moved everything around, so I'm working on it. So my layout is identical to this. I did change out one fabric. This fabric right here, I didn't buy enough of. Let's see, the fabric that's right here is what's supposed to be right here, and that's not what I've got there. I've got a different fabric, but it is still a fabric from the quilt. But I was able to get more of it. I wasn't able to get more of the first one. So that is my current progress on the Elizabeth Hartman quilt. So the only things that are done, of course, all the star systems themselves are sewn together. These little sections right here are sewn together, but they're still separate. They're not, everything's not attached to everything else. Plus, if you remember, I did double. So I have an additional 8 star systems that are going to go into this quilt. This quilt was originally going to be 80 inches by 80 inches. With the new layout, it is going to be 100 by 100. I may add a couple more inches in border or whatever to make it all the way out to like a 120 or something like that. I did want a king size quilt, and that's going to get me there. So I will have 1 star system left over, and I will also have all of those half square triangles, and there's a ton of them. I don't know how many, but I'll be looking into that. So seeing what else I have missed. Everybody's just chatting. I'm glad to be here. Thank you. I'm glad you guys are here. I really am. I don't know who all has looked. As of last Tuesday, we were going to do a celebration because we hit 150 subscribers. So I was going to be doing a giveaway next week, so April 2nd, for celebrating 150 subscribers. You guys, I just looked, we are at 219. So not only have you all supported me, you guys have pushed me over that next milestone, that 200, and I could not be more thankful. So I'm glad you all are here. I'm glad that I have something to share with you guys that is giving back to the community. So let's talk about next week just a little bit. Next week, we are going to do 2 things. We're going to do 2 things. We are going to do a giveaway. So there will be a giveaway. And because we are blowing past these milestones, if we hit 250 before next week, I will throw in an additional item as a giveaway. 220, thank you, Giovanna. Woohoo! I am so excited. But yeah, so if we hit 250 by next Tuesday, I mean, that's 30 subscribers. We'll have 2 giveaways instead of just 1. If we're still, somewhere below that 250, we'll hold off. Hi, Katie Crafts. Glad you are here. Thank you for joining the chat. If you are lurking around and you cannot comment or you cannot chat, you do need to subscribe. That is the way that I keep anybody who doesn't really, really want to be here, I keep them from being here and harassing all my loyal people. So I'm glad, that I've got it set up that way, but it does mean you have to subscribe. And if you've subscribed and it's been 5 minutes and you still can't comment, you might have to leave the chat or leave the video and then come back to refresh YouTube to get in. But yeah, so this is the project that I am kind of working on. We are going to bind a quilt today. So Tuesday we're going to do the giveaway. It's Tuesday, April 2nd. We are going to do a giveaway. You guys it's up to everybody if we're doing 1 giveaway or 2. Just depends on if we get that other 30 people. And with the way things have been going and the way YouTube has been putting me out there, it very likely will be. So we will have, the giveaway or giveaways on Tuesday, April 2nd. Then we are also going to do a sew and tell. So if you are not already a member of the Facebook group, thank you, Katie. I appreciate that. It has been a work in progress for a while. So I just put in the link. Hi, Beverly. Glad you are here. Thank you. I just put the link in the chat. Nightbot is helping me out. If you have not already joined the Facebook group and you want to participate in the Sew and Tell, you need to click the link to go over to the Facebook group and get involved. If there's any kind of I need to leave your name out of it or something like that, you want to post anonymously, you are able to post anonymously in my group. So if it's a gift or something like that and it can't go out on YouTube, just don't put Sew and Tell on it. There will be a post going up in less than an hour on that Facebook group telling you exactly how to enter for the Sew and Tell. So we are going to do, thank you, Laura, I appreciate that. I'm hoping, I'm very, very much hoping. So in the giveaways on April 2nd, when we do Sew and Tell, hi Andrea, glad you are here. So on April 2nd, when we do Sew and Tell, if you are submitting something for Sew and Tell, you will be entered for an additional giveaway. Now, I'm going to do, every 6 months, we are going to do a giveaway to those who are entering Sew and Tell. Does that mean you have to have something completed and finished? Nope, it doesn't. Does it mean you have to have something super awesome, like very intricate? No, it doesn't. Thank you, Joyce. She said she just shared my channel. I appreciate it. So with the giveaway, what we are going to do is, for the Sew and Tell giveaway, that will be 6 months out. So April is month 4. So in October, just in time for my birthday, is going to be our first Sew and Tell giveaway. So everybody who submits anything, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, I know that's a long way to go, but if you submit one thing, you'll get on the Sew and Tell list for a giveaway in October. So I am saving up. I am going to make it worth your while. It might be something that I created. It might be something that I purchased. There will be something absolutely worthwhile in the Sew and Tell giveaway, but you do have to submit something when in October. It will be our first Tuesday live in October. So what I'm going to do, a small format change, very, very, very small format change that I'm going to be doing. Thank you, Charlotte. So one thing I'm going to do is the very first Tuesday of the month. Yes, it is. It's Kennedy. Thank you. So the very first Tuesday of the month, when we do our Tuesday night lives, we are going to make that first Tuesday night live a Sew and Tell live. So the last Tuesday of the month, hi Dee's Crafting Corner, glad you are here, and thank you for the compliment, I appreciate it. So the first Tuesday of the month is going to be Sew and Tell, and it is going to be it's going to be so exciting. I cannot wait. Okay, let's be realistic for a second. I love quilting, and I love crafting, and I love creating. That is why I'm here. I don't do this just because I'm making a business out of it, because I'm not. I'm not going to make a business out of it. It is not what I want to do with my life. I can't maintain it at any kind of level where I could reliably make money. So, this month I might pop out 4 quilts. Next month I might get half of a quilt done. I mean, it's not consistent, and you have to do anything with stars is my favorite book. I love that. I love creating with fabric. Absolutely love it. I have worked with jewelry. I've made jewelry. I've worked with resin. I have worked with cross stitch, and while I enjoy cross stitch, it's not sewing with a machine. And that is kind of my first and foremost passion, is to sew and create something. And sometimes that involves, hi Linda, glad you are here. Thank you for joining the chat. So I love to sew and create, and if I don't get to sew and create something with fabric, I will sew and create with whatever I can. I mean, I will do it, but this is my first love. I actually had over 95 pounds of beads and bindings and jewelry supplies, wires, you name it, over 95 pounds, and I have got those listed on my personal Facebook, selling in the local area to get them gone, because I am not crafting with them like I would want to be doing. It's too much. There's just too much of it. And if I want to create something, I want to create something with something small, or with what I really want to create with. Giovanna says, I have done wire wrapping a lot of years. I did work with wire wrapping, but it is so hard on my hands, so I can't do that regularly. Sewing with a machine, it doesn't matter how much my hands hurt. It doesn't matter how much they are swollen. It doesn't matter how much my hip hurts, how much my shoulder hurts. I will make it happen. I will push through, because I love sewing and quilting with fabric. I just love fabric and a needle and thread in a sewing machine. I love that more than anything else. So I want to create with that, and I want to reward all of my subscribers for participating in that with me. It's not that you have to create something fantastic. It's not something that you have to do, like you don't have to pop, out. You don't have to pop out an Elizabeth Hartman pattern. You don't have to pop out this massive paper piece project. You don't have to pop out 4 or 5 quilts every however long. You don't even have to finish the entire quilt top. Post a picture of your block. Post a picture of the rug that you made with the extra scraps that you had. Post this orphan block that you've got. Whatever is your creative achievement. That's what I want to share. And I want to be able to share it with the YouTube community, not to embarrass, not to highlight anything. So if you find flaws in what you've done, I'm not here to highlight that. I am here because I want to celebrate it, because that is what is so important to me. So every 6 months, we are going to do a Sew and Tell giveaway. So if you did not participate in a Sew and Tell between now and October, you don't get to win anything in October. And whatever it is, I do not have a prize decided yet, but whatever it is, it will absolutely be worth it. So if you don't craft with fabric and thread, if you do other crafts, because I'm seeing Laura say she considers herself a fiber crafter. She did beading for a while and all of that. So if there's other crafts, you're fine, Joyce. We totally understand. So if you have a different craft than what I do, that's fine. I don't care. I want to see you craft and create. So if you're a knitter, if you're a crocheter, if you are a cross stitcher, you're a needle pointer, any kind, jewelry maker, any kind of craft, if what I have available for the giveaway isn't something that suits your craft, you may get a nice little email from me going, hey, is this something that you want, or would you want something tailored to your craft? So don't feel like I'm going to exclude you because you're not a quilter. That is absolutely not the case. I want to showcase people crafting. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about again next week too. I can't do much. Okay, there's a lid on it. I just won't have a drink for the live. Giovanna says I can't do it much anymore because I went on a crazy spree making paper beads. I made more than 3,000 in 3 months. Wow. And you hurt your hand so badly, so now I like sewing again. I don't blame you. All right, so I did say today is going to be binding. So I have already got this binding started. So this is a Quilt of Valor that I created. And once it's off the machine, I can show you what it looks like. But I have already taken the liberty of getting started on putting the binding on. So I have 2 corners left and just the shortest of sides. So, quilts typically aren't square. This one is definitely not square, so we're going to do just the small spot. I agree, that is a lot of beads, especially paper beads. I could not. There's no way. I am in amazement at what you did, Giovanna, but I can sympathize with your hand hurting after doing all of that. I absolutely can. One of my favorite things, and I did keep some of my beads, and I am keeping some of my beads and my wire, things like that, so that I can make personal jewelry just for myself. The beads I absolutely loved the most, or my husband thought would look good for a piece of jewelry for me. I kept that, and then anything that I would use to make sun catchers, because that I will still do. The rest of it is all being sold. Yeah, everybody is in awe of you, Giovanna. You are the lady today. All right, so I'm going to transition and bring the machine camera up so you guys can see. And pardon, I am going to have to move this camera. I am so sorry, you guys. I hate doing that after I have already got it started. That is so not fair to you guys. Actually, you know what? We're going to make another change. Bear with me just a moment. Is that I go for all or nothing? Yes. That is after my own heart. Let me tell you. I am that. All or nothing. You guys will end up seeing my super secret project some more. It will not be in the show and tell because it is not ready yet, and it has not been gifted. So I am going to have to wait on that. I am so sorry that I'm having to adjust this, you guys. If you do not know, I am moving everything that has been in my storage closet into my studio. So where the camera is now, it was on my desk, which was directly in front of me, and my desk is no longer there. So the camera is now in front of my thread rack, and my computer is on the shelving unit that I brought in from my storage closet. So I had to empty an entire shelving unit to be able to bring it in, to set it up my computer, and then fabric and other things will be getting put on those shelves, but they're almost completely bare right now. Giovanna says, but I've only made 1 quilt to date. If you don't include a crochet blanket, I will include all of it. You are creating. It's going to be Giovanna. I call that extremely overachieving. And Laura says, Giovanna, I am the same way. I tend to jump in feet first and just go for it. I do not blame you, ladies. I am the same way. All right. So I do not know the name of this thing before you guys ask. I will look it up later. It is a plastic container, plastic roll piece. One end has a square. Sorry about the extra light, making it hard to see. And then the other side is just rounded. And this little thing right here is just a necklace piece that I could buy at the time. I believe it is from Simplicity. I have the Simplicity bias tape maker, and then I have the bias tape winder, I believe is what it is called. And these are the pieces that go in the bias tape winder. But do not quote me. I cannot give you a link right this second because my entire room is in disarray. But that is what my binding is wound up on. So this binding is 2.5 inches, and it is just folded in half. So I have already got the bias tape loaded. Hi, Lisa. Glad you are here. We missed you last night, but congratulations. All right, so when I get to the end of my row of my quilting, let me see if I can zoom in. Don't quote me that I might be able to, because I don't know if I can. I've made my own bead rollers of different sizes. Oh, yes, definitely an overachiever. All right, so we are going to see if you guys can see. You know what? I am actually... Oh, Denise, hi, glad you are here. I did not see you sneak in. Mona told on you. Oh, all right. You know, I'm going to bring you guys to the sewing machine only because I am zoomed in. All right. So when I get to the end of... And sorry, I'm having to move the camera. When I get to the end, my foot has 1/4 inch guides. So where I have stopped is about 1/4 inch from the edge. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lift the foot and I'm going to sew at a 45-degree angle right off my quilt. Okay? So we're doing 2 corners. So this is one of 2. So you guys will get to see the other one too. All right, let me zoom back out real quick just a hair so you guys can see this. All right. See if I can put this up where it is in the camera range. All right. So when you get your binding sewn on, this is sewn on to the back because I'm going to flip it to the front and sew it down to the front by machine. Dee says, gotta run. Have a great evening, everyone. Absolutely, Dee. If you feel like you missed anything, feel free to come back and watch. Replay is better than no play. All right. So when we get to this end, what I like to do is I like to flip this up, and we are just going to flip the end over, and we are looking to line up the rest of our binding with this new edge. And if you look in here, if you line up your 2 pieces of binding right there so that they lay flat, and I do apologize, this red is so hard to see. Let me see if I can adjust by turning that off or turning that. That didn't turn off. There it goes. Okay. Give you guys a little bit more contrast. All right. So I make sure that those are lined up. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to start at the edge and stitch my 1/4 inch all the way down. Okay. So that is how I do my corners. And get my corners to be as precise as I can be. So this is not bias binding. I typically do use bias binding. This time I couldn't. It was cut from what was available for scraps. I do work with my local Quilt of Valor group. So this is a Quilt of Valor. I did not do the quilting on this, so I cannot take any credit for the quilting, but this is a quilt top that I did piece, and I picked a pattern out of our book. We've got most of the Fons and Porter Quilt of Valor pattern recommendations. We have most of those in that book. I think we might only be missing a couple if we're missing that. But it's a fairly substantial size book. So this is one of those patterns, so when I hold it up after I get this attached, you guys, you'll be able to see. And I am going to show you how I bind, or how I can bind the ends of my binding. So if you didn't pre-press your binding in half, you can still do this, but you definitely want to do a lot more pinning. I do not like to pin. You guys will rarely see me pin. So that is why we are not pinning. Because I rarely do that. So I've got a poll for you guys. I'm not putting it in the chat because I haven't figured out how to do the polls yet. So you'll have to bear with me. If I were to do, for the 6-month giveaway, would you guys want something that I created? Like either a lap quilt or a wall hanging quilt? Would you guys like something that I created? Or would you like something to get further along in your crafting journey? So like a gift card to a place where you can order something online? Or would you guys like me to do a little bit of fabric de-stash and send you something that is either in my stash or something that I picked up that I think will work well together? What kind of giveaways would you like for the 6-month giveaways? Because those are going to be big ones. So since I've got to save up and make sure that everything is ready for 6 months, I do kind of want some feedback on what you guys would like to see. Is that a hole in my quilt? No. There's no holes in it. It probably is the lighting. I have a window off to that side of my sewing machine. So it's not, there's no hole in it. It's probably just the lighting. This fabric is this blue is like got a leaf pattern on it. So that and the shadows from my window probably are contributing to it. Lisa says, I'm pinning my quilt of valor on the long arm at the moment. Awesome. Beverly says, anything would be good for me. And Joyce says, anything would be fine. Lisa says, I like gift cards, but I'd be happy with anything. Aw, that's super sweet. I know, I like gift cards too. So that's why. I think what I might do is I might change it up every 6 months. And every 6 months it will be a whole new surprise. So you guys might see me even create whatever it is if I'm doing a giveaway like that. Or you guys might be getting a gift card just depending on where I'm at with everything. So we shall see. We shall see, we shall see. Either and or I would just be happy if I won. Well, Andrea, you are on some kind of winning streak is from what I hear. You know, I know you won something because everybody was asking you what you won. And then I think I heard you won something else. Laura says, I'm sure anything you decide would be awesome. Maybe mix it up every 6 months. Yeah, I like that idea. That would work really awesome. That would work awesome. As I'm overseas, for me, it would be better for a gift card on Amazon so you don't have to pay for shipping or me customs. Well, if I do ship internationally, Giovanna, I will thoroughly research whether or not I can prepay your customs because I would not expect anyone to pay for anything that I am giving away. That's not fair to you. Glenda says, whatever you choose will be good. Awesome. How about a free pattern that you've designed? Yeah, you know, I could do that. I definitely could. So my temperature quilt is a little bit on hold because I'm moving things around. But that is going to be going full force again in the month of April. So it will not be ready as early as I'd hoped. So it might be ready in May, but it will still be ready soon. Awesome, Mona. Thank you for being here. Mona says that she has to go. Have a great night. All right. So let me show you guys again what I have done. And this time you can see the stitching. So I have sewn my 1/4 inch all along the edge, and then I have sewn right off the corner. So if you flip it over, I am a little off from the corner, like I'm not right on the corner, but the closer you get, the easier this is. So that is how I do the first part. Then I take and I'm just folding this up and out of the way a little bit. So where my binding ends at that corner is just going to start again at the next corner. Okay, so this is what I do. All right, so you can also verify again because your pieces here match up. Okay, so those are going to create a 45-degree angle. All right, so we are going to sew down just a little bit, and then we are going to be ready to join these ends, and I'm going to show you how I do it. So I did leave a very long tail from the other end, so we have plenty to work with. So I actually only need to get, even that is more than enough. All right, so we're going to take this off, and let me bring you guys up to the main camera. And so I have my thread tail hanging off of one side, and I have the rest attached to me, hanging off the other. Okay? Everybody's saying bye to Mona! Oh my goodness. Giovanna says not fair to you either? Oh no. No. We're not even discussing fair to me. Okay? If I'm offering to send something to you overseas, then I am offering to send something to you overseas, and I am offering to pay for it. Okay? That is part of my deal. That will be in my budget. That's why I need 6 months to prep for it. But I will keep that in mind. So, as an option. But I didn't offer, expecting anybody to pay for anything. And I did not offer, without knowing that I might be sending internationally. Okay. Got my drink. And it's not completely flat. Okay. So Dr. Pepper has lived on today. All right, let me bring you guys over to the cutting table. And you guys will have to bear with me. I have not done any adjustments to the cameras other than it getting moved around and shifted and all of that. Okay? So everybody, when I talk to people who are trying to figure out how to do binding, this is where they're at. They are at this point of joining these two ends, and they get stuck. So what I have learned to do, and you guys, my scissors have walked off. Okay, so I don't have scissors. All right, so we're going to rough cut. All right, so I have just cut a section off of my binding, okay? You can do this with a mat or whatever if you want to, and I will do that for this next part because, again, my scissors walked off. I see them. They're underneath my monitor. If I get up to get them, everything's going to come crashing down. And you know what? I'm actually going to even this up just a hair just because I can. Do not do what I do. Do what I say. Don't ever cut towards your body. And don't reach where it's not supposed to be comfortable, okay? So do as I say, not as I do. Frog said, a free pattern made by you for everyone would be a great prize. Awesome! You all are so sweet. Thank you. All right. So here's what we're going to do. So this is my binding piece, and this is the piece that I just cut off of there. So I'm going to turn this piece that I cut off. I'm going to turn it. Okay, so this is the entire width of my binding, and I'm going to lay it on top. Okay, so that is 2.5 inches. And I know this may be a little hard to see. I am going to do a tutorial on this later. I'm just not doing it right this second. And actually, I have to cut this off a little bit because I left a little bit too much room. So pardon me. This is the way I should have cut it the first time. but this is just me. Okay, so I have an extra piece. All right, so now my binding pieces can lay over the top of each other. Okay, so you're going to take your binding piece that you cut off, and you're going to lay it over your one binding piece. Okay, so this is going to give you the width of your binding. Okay, then you're going to take your other binding piece, and you're just going to lay it on top. Okay, easy enough, right? All right, so you still have this binding piece sitting in there. You're going to pick it up and keep it with the piece that you just laid on top. Okay, so I did not move this binding piece off of this piece I just pulled off. Okay, so I transferred it from here to there. I'm going to do it one more time. You're going to lay your binding piece. You're going to line up your ends here. And you're going to lay your other binding piece over the top. And just lay it so it's flat. You don't have to stretch it or pull it or anything like that. Okay, so you're laying it over. Then you're going to pick up that binding piece with your piece that you laid over the top and flip it over. Okay? All right, so what we're going to do now is we are going to trim off the extra that is hanging over our binding piece. Okay? So now we've got the two binding pieces at the right length. So we don't have to figure out the length or do any extra math. Okay? You can do math if you want to. I don't like to do math when I'm trying to do this. I can't think through it for some reason. So we're not going to do that. Okay? So now all you do, take one piece, doesn't matter which one, you lay it right side up. You take the other piece and lay it right side down. Okay? I am going to grab a pen. I'll have to see what you guys are saying here in just a second. I didn't supersize the font for myself today. All right, so when I pin it, okay, those sides are going to line up and go correctly. So I am going to sew on a 45 across here. Now I could go ahead and pre-cut. I'm not going to, just in case I screw up, okay? There's always that possibility. So I'm going to sew from the corner that's under here. I'm going to sew from that corner up to this corner, making a diagonal. If you want to draw a line, you absolutely can. And I do apologize if I'm over here and I'm looking up at the camera. When I did my first video, I was conscious of where the camera was for the audio for my very first video, and it has kind of stuck with me that I need to look up for my mic. Let's see. I agree, Giovanna. And a PDF download does not cost anything to mail. Absolutely, Andrea. I do agree. Pastry Queen, Liana, glad you are here. I was showing my mom my channel and saw you were on. Let's give Tammy the thumbs up. Yes, please, 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 please. If you have not already paid the tax, hit the thumbs up. If you like the content, if you're watching the replay, hit that thumbs up. Let YouTube know that you like my content. That really does help me along, and it's gotten me a lot further than I expected to get. So I appreciate any help that you guys can give me. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We are over here at the machine. And remember I said we're going to sew that 45-degree angle, right? If you want to pre-cut it, you can. But I don't, because I've sewn binding wrong so many times. Irish Sail Lady, glad you have joined the chat. Thank you. I saw you subscribe the other day, so thank you. All right. All right, you guys. Ugh. Okay. Now that you see me hugging the quilt, because that's real and that's going to happen, I do not have extra room to put an extra table to do the extra weight for the quilt. So this is just what we're going to do. Okay? So let me turn this light on just a little bit so you guys have a little bit of light, but it's not blinding. So what we are going to do is we're going to sew that 45-degree from the one corner all the way to this other corner. And I do have diagonal seam tape down here. So that is how I am making the line all the way. If you do not have diagonal seam tape, or you don't know how to use it, or you're not familiar with it, absolutely draw the line. There is no shame in drawing the line. I cannot tell you how many lines I have drawn. Yes, you do. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So we just did our 45-degree angle. So let me turn this light back off. That is not helping. All right. So we did the 45-degree angle sew. I know it's hard to see, but that proves that there is a 45-degree angle sewn in there. All right. And all we're going to do is we're going to make sure it lays flat, and it's going to lay flat against our quilt, and it will. All right. So I would normally I just grab my scissors and trim this 1/4 inch away. I do not have the scissors handy because, again, they're underneath my monitor. So I'm just going to bring it over and just trim that off real quick. I'm not even going to use a ruler. I'm just going to get it so it is away from the edge. Ah. Okay. I was opening it and then reclosing it. Oh, Liana! Oh, dessert time. Ooh. Liana, you'll have to come back and watch the rest and find out what's going on next week. You'll have to watch replay if you haven't already left. All right. So now that I've got it trimmed down, all I have to do is sew this rest of this 1/4 inch seam, and this binding is attached to the back. And then I'll show you guys what I do on the front side so you guys can see that once I've shown you the quilt. Because I did say as soon as I took it off the machine, I would show you guys, and I will do that. So what I'm doing right now is I am opening that seam allowance up that I just sewed, that diagonal. And we will get there. We will get there, you guys. I promise we will get there. When I do the 4 quilts that I've got left to quilt, once I have those quilted, we are going to have a binding party. We are going to do full on, nothing but binding all day long. So we will start with the cutting. We will start with everything so you guys can see just how I make binding. And I have one of them that I am going to put a flange binding on. You might also hear it called faux piping. So we are going to do that as well. So that will be in here as an option. All right. And I forgot, if you are here and you have a channel, you can always hit !selfie, and Nightbat will give everybody a link to your YouTube channel. All right, so I'm going to bring you guys back to the main camera, and then we are going to do a show. All right, you ready? You ready? All right, so this is part of the quilt. It's getting caught by the table. All right, so there's 2 big stars up in the corner, 2 stars in the middle. There are 2 stars down. And 2 stars below that. So there are a total of 8 stars in this quilt. And there is a lot of negative space. You can just see how much white there is. There is a lot of negative space. Thank you, Giovanna. I follow a pattern very well. But I cannot seem to hold it up to save my life. But yeah, so these little stars are not that hard to put together. They really, really went together fast. The hardest part of this quilt was making sure that all of the big pieces, because you are cutting huge pieces of fabric, is just getting all of those measured and cut properly, and then not changing around the order and not putting them in the right order. What design is quilted on it? Very good question. So we're going to see. I don't know if you guys can see it on the camera. So let me bring it over without hitting the microphone, if I can. All right, so I did not quilt this, and I am not seeing it on the camera. So you guys need to tell me if you guys are seeing it. There are stars quilted. So there's a star right here. There's outline. And then all the white space is quilted in straight lines. I think you can see some of the straight lines quilted on it. So there's here and here are vertical lines, and then through here is like horizontal lines. So the lady who did this did an amazing job on it. She couldn't figure out what else to quilt on it. So that's what she quilted. You know what? I do have a way you guys can see this. Hang on. Thinking brain. Thinking cap. Thinking cap. Gotta have a thinking cap. I am going to bring you guys over to the sewing machine by itself. And I'm going to zoom out as far as I can go. Alright. So here in this blank space, there is a star quilted. Then here in the hourglass, and pardon the dirt, that's my fault. She quilted inside each hourglass piece. I don't know the exact order that she did it, so you can't come after me. Yes, there are some big pieces in that white space. There are a lot of them. In the sashing here, in the middle of the star, she did put a straight line down the sashing. And then again for the hourglass units. And then again for the next small white space in the star area, she put a star. And then she did the same star. I know it's harder to see in this gold. She put another star in this gold section. And then in all the red that goes all the way around the quilt, she did straight line. Just one single straight line. Those you might also be able to see better on the back now that we're up close. So there's a star that would be quilted in the white space right there. This is one of the hourglass units. And so, I mean, they're gorgeous. I mean, even if they're not all identical, there's no need for them to be, because you're not going to be sitting there looking just at the quilting. You're going to be looking at the front, and from the front you can't tell. So, all right, so here's what we're going to do. While we still have some time, we are going to go ahead and flip this over. And let me go looking for the end that I'm looking for. I know you guys are just seeing color changes. All right, so I have a label. I am covering up the information on it. This is a standard Quilts of Valor label from our current organization. So I'm covering up the names. I don't have permission to share. I do not know who this is going to yet. So that person's name will get put on here once we have that information and once it is about to be awarded. So these are not gifts. These are not prizes or anything like this. These are awarded to veterans who have been honorably discharged from the military, from the armed forces. So it will be a gift, it will be an award of a quilt. It's not just a gift or something like that. So it is taken very seriously. We do want to honor the service and sacrifice of our armed forces. All right, so when I go to the front, and I do apologize because this is going to be red on red. So on the front, we are going to pull one side of our binding in. And if you look here real quick, so this line right here is the previous quilting. There are two other lines. This outer line is where the quilter basted the edges of the quilt to keep them from shifting. And then this line right here is where I sewed the binding to the back. So when I fold this over, I am looking to just cover that stitching from the back. So I'm just going to fold it over to cover that stitching line. And here at the corner, I'm going to just hold the binding all the way up to the corner. And I'm going to flip the next side over. And I'm going to adjust and push this a little bit until I am happy with the way that my miter lands. And I'm not used to doing this for a camera, so you'll have to bear with me. So I'm just going to push and adjust until I'm happy with the way that it lands. Even if it is landing way over, the extra stitching is going to show up on the back, but that's okay. It's not going to be showing up on the front. And so I'm not terribly worried about it. So what I have done, let me also show you while I'm back here. So on the label, it is already attached. So what I did is I attached the two outer corners by hand, outer sides. So this side right here and this side by here are already attached. And then the other two sides are attached underneath the binding. So they are machine attached. So I only had to hand sew for about 7-8 inches maybe total. It wasn't a whole lot. It was not a whole lot at all. So what I'm going to do is when I line this up on my machine, I make sure that I am covering that previous line of stitching, and I'm trying to stay as close to it as possible. So I'm not going to go far away from it, but I do want to catch the front completely in it. And if I catch the back, great. If I don't, it's already attached once. So this is not going to be a show quilt. This is not going to go. This is not going to go in any shows that I am aware of. I am not putting it in a show. And it's not because I did poorly on it or anything like that, because I didn't. It is because that is not the purpose of this particular quilt. This quilt is going to a veteran that deserves the honor and deserves the recognition. All of our armed forces veterans that have been honorably discharged do deserve that. So that is how I attach it. Do you guys want to see me sew it all the way down to the end and then come back? How do you guys want me to do this? Let me know if you have any questions. Please let me know if you got questions. I know everybody got quiet for a minute. And normally at home normally when I'm not doing this on camera, I clip it with those Wonder Clips. Looking great, thank you. Okay, ladies, I have to go to sleep. It's nearly 1 a.m. See you tomorrow morning. Bye. Awesome, Giovanna. Get some much needed sleep. Absolutely. Absolutely. So now that Giovanna's gone, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that to anyone at any time. Unless you're one of my local ladies. If you're one of my local ladies, then I might do that to you. Just because I can. Because I can always tell you guys to go back and watch the replay too. Yes, absolutely. Sleep well, Giovanna. Still pinning my quilt. Awesome. Good. So then we're just hanging out then, huh? Now, if you do want to make sure that your binding is completely full, so you have a quilt all the way to the edge of your binding, what I do recommend is actually cutting your binding just a hair smaller than 2.5, especially if you're going to sew 1/4 inch. Otherwise, you could sew a little bit larger than 1/4 inch and also fill your binding that way. You can, especially if it's a wall quilt or a utility quilt where you know someone is going to be using that quilt and it's not going in a show, you don't have to worry as much about how the back looks. So you could, it wouldn't matter from there. I will be watching but not writing, so be careful. Love it. I'm finishing up last row on an Afghan for my great niece, due in a couple weeks. Awesome. That's exciting. That is very exciting. I have got to get this room cleared so that I can get back to actually doing other stuff, because I need to layer that baby quilt for that baby due at the end of May, that Irish chain with a twist. I need to get that layered and quilted so that I can bind it and it will be ready for baby when baby gets here. So I can label it once they actually put the label and then ship it. Yes, I agree, Beverly. It is awesome. It's huge that she's all the way to the last row. I cannot crochet or knit. I pull my stitches too tight. I am very much a stitch too tight person the whole way down. The whole way. So when I do this, when I do a lot of quilts, so part of the reason I haven't already bound this, because I've had this back for a few weeks. Part of the reason I had not already bound this was I was planning to do binding on 5 quilts all at the same time. This one needs to be done now so that it is available. I don't know how many quilts are available. I do know that we've got quite a few award ceremonies coming up, so this one does need to be available. I do have another Quilt of Valor that needs to be quilted ASAP, so it can also be bound. I don't know if it will be ready by the time for the ceremonies or the upcoming ceremonies, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try. That is a goal. And I can quilt, because my quilt server is over here, I can quilt while I'm doing all the rest of this other too. So I did buy, you guys will get a tour of my studio once it's dinner time. I hear ya, Charlotte. I am ready for dinner. I will tell you that. I am very, very ready for dinner. So I bought magazine boards to wrap my fabric on, and I also bought comic book boards. My comic book boards are going for my smaller fabrics, so half yards and down, or well, they might go for yard, but I think they're going to go half yards and down. Last I knew, we have 18 recipients waiting. Okay, yes, that is quite a few, and I know they've got 2. Yeah, they've got 2 of mine already. So this will make, I don't know, no, they've got 1 of mine. This will be 2 waiting. So I will have, if I can get that other one done, there will be 3 waiting to be part of that. Because my super secret project is taking forever, and it's kind of taken over my sewing life. But the border on my snail trail, now basting quilt, slow progress. That's okay, Glenda. Nothing wrong with slow. It's appropriate for a snail trail. Oh. Is it? Oh, it's the tortoise and the hare. I was thinking that this snail was part of that. Something fell, and I have no idea what fell. But it's the second time today I've heard something fall. And I don't know what fell. You've never learned to crochet or knit. Neither have, well, I've tried. Hi, Chloe. Glad you are here. I learned to crochet a little bit, and I tried knitting. I tried. I swear I tried. And I still have knitting supplies, because I have kind of revamped into that I might give it another go, but I've got like a knitting machine and all this other to go with it. So I'm not trying to do it just with regular knitting needles. I have 2, but think only one is going this next month. Okay. Yeah, I don't know how many. I crochet, knit, and sew, but my knitting is a little tight. Yeah, I can knit, but I'm faster at crochet. Yeah. I mean, it's amazing how much just changing the kind of technique or the kind of stitch, how much that can trip someone up. It is so amazing. So, Chloe, I don't know how much you have missed. And for anybody else that is just joining the chat, we are next week, so April 2nd, so 1 week from today, we are going to do a show and tell. So anybody who puts, there will be a Facebook post up in the Facebook group. If you are not a member of the group, there is a link down in the description. There is also, if I can type, let's see if my computer likes me. Oh, my computer likes me. All right. So there's a link also going up in the chat right now, but there is a link in the description of the video for anybody who's watching this on the replay. You can go click and join the group, and we are going to do a show and tell where we showcase everything that people are wanting to share at 6 months, every 6 months, so starting in April, so that means October, every 6 months from April, we are going to do a show and tell giveaway where someone somewhere is going to win something. Don't know yet what, but somebody's going to win something in order to celebrate doing show and tell. So show and tells are going to be once a month. And that is going to be the first Tuesday of every month. And it does not have to be something completed or anything like that. So if you are just joining and you have not caught the whole video, go back and watch the whole video because I talk a lot about it. And you'll have a lot of opportunities between now and October, but just don't forget. It's Kennedy. I can crochet, but knitting is beyond my capabilities. Well, your crochet, that's better than what I can do. Joy says, I made all my children and my grandchildren Afghans. Now I'm into making them all a quilt. I love that. That is priceless. I love that. Love it, love it, love it. I was into making something for every member of the family, and I think only one person in my life has not gotten a quilt. And it's not my husband. He has gotten a quilt from me. He's gotten 2 quilts from me. He got one while we were dating. So how many have you done, Joyce? It's Kennedy wants to know. Oh, that's so exciting. Let's see. My son has gotten, or I made 2 for my son. They're both put up because they're both small quilts. My husband has gotten 2. One of them is a queen size, and then the other was a lap size. The one when we were dating was lap size. And let's see. My mom has gotten 1. My mom and dad together have gotten 1. Hi, Maritza. Glad you are here. Thank you for joining the chat. You have missed a lot. You will need to watch replay too to catch up. You have got an hour and 15 minutes of replay to watch. You're not late, but you will have replay to watch. Because there's a lot that I said, there's just no way I can say it twice. I'm just not good at it. Not good at it. If you are a YouTuber and you want to share your channel, do exclamation selfie in the chat. If you are not a member of the Facebook group and you want to be a member of the Facebook group, you can do exclamation group or exclamation FB for Facebook. And that will put you in the group. Now, I do remember someone saying that they are not on Facebook. I do have a solution for that. Do exclamation email. So exclamation email. And you can email me your submission for show and tell. So I do not mind. So we will go, I will put out something in the community so that people who are not on YouTube or not on Facebook or don't want to be on Facebook are still able to participate and do not feel left out at all. So I do not want a single subscriber of mine to feel left out for whatever reason. Afghans, you made 15 for all the kids, gave 1 to my mom's sisters. So about 30 Afghans still working on quilts. Hopefully I have them all finished by Christmas this year. That is an impressive goal. That is awesome. You have been a busy bee. If I totaled up all the quilts I've made throughout the years, I've probably made that many quilts total. But definitely not that many gifted to family. I also don't have that huge of a family. Well, I do now that I'm married to my husband, but there's a limit. There is definitely a limit. For my niece and my nephew from my oldest brother-in-law, they both received cross stitches for wedding gifts. So I made 2 cross stitches, and I have plans to make more cross stitches, but obviously my quilting takes priority, so I haven't done much of that. We've got Beverly and It's Kennedy both going, wow, Joyce, that's awesome. Y'all could be Jinx partners. Oh, so growing up in the South, because I did grow up in the South, have 44 quilts to finish. Oh my gosh, that's a lot of quilts. That makes anybody else's UFO list look small. Well, maybe except for Fallon from Soviet Quilts. I think she had 85 quilts to finish. Something like that. That was her UFO stash. Alright, so you guys, one other thing we are doing on April 2nd. And so everybody who's already left, they're not going to hear it. Not unless they watch replay. So one other thing we're going to do on April 2nd is I am going to, if I have everything gathered, which I want to try to, we are going to do a voting on what my next project will be. So you guys get to pick one project and I get to pick another. So I will still have 3 quilts going, and I will have the temperature quilt working on it in the background. So you guys won't get to see that until it is done. But I will be working on it. I think my quilter picked up a few stray threads from the backing. So I'm burying them as I go. That's for family, but working on charity blocks also. Oh my goodness. I am in awe. I'm very, 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 very much impressed. Very much impressed. So I have a purple quilt. I have a very colorful and bright paper piece quilt. I have Beverly's asking if you're retired, Joyce. Hi, Joy T. Glad you are here. Thank you for joining the chat. Awesome. You will have to go back and watch the replay because I talked a lot about what we're doing next week. You will not want to miss out. You will not want to miss out. But you are more than welcome to stay because I am about to tell everybody what the future projects list is. So one is a purple quilt. I've wanted to do one for a really long time, and it is all with batiks. I have got a paper pieced quilt that is very bright and colorful. And I have 2 different quilt kits. One is Christmas themed. It's a lot of white. It's got a lot of white background space. Awesome. Thank you, Joy T. Let's see. What did I miss? Oh, you are retired. Gotcha. I'm kind of retired. So let's see. One quilt kit is a lot of white background and has Christmas fabrics, I believe. It's a kit. I have not looked in detail at the fabrics. I will pull them out for the show and tell. And then the other one I just picked up recently. It was part of an estate sale. I do not know how old the quilt kits are. The lady did buy 2 quilt kits, intending to make everything that she got into king size. So I have more than enough fabric to make the quilt larger than the original kit size. I feel like I've got one other in there. Let's see. Okay, so I've got Aurora. I've got the Jenny Beyer. The Jenny Beyer one is the purple one. Got the Christmas one. I got the cactus one. You know, guys, I know there is one more, but it is behind that door, and there's no way I can get it right now. Oh, it's going to rack my brain. All right, but you guys will get pictures, and everything will be very detailed. So you guys get to choose one of these for me to work on, and then I get to choose the other one. Or I may pull out a UFO. I might do that as my choice. So you guys get to choose a kit one or a kitted one, and I choose a UFO. I don't know. I have a Halloween UFO. I have a Lifetime Achievement Project UFO. That is just something that I've wanted to do for forever. I started on it and ended up getting stopped and never got around to finishing it. The Halloween one I think would be fun to finish. And if I put a goal of 6 months to finish it, it would be done in time for Halloween. Let's see. What else do I have? I'm trying to think what else I got in my UFOs. So that's 2. Oh gosh, I know what it is. I got one that is black, yellow, red. I'm looking for it because I thought it was in here, but I'm not seeing it. It's black, white, and red, and it is curved piecing. Love your t-shirt. Thank you. Thank you. My husband got this for me. Halloween would be cool. Yes. It's an embroidery quilt as you go kind of project. Goats and pajamas. Oh, Lord have mercy. I do need to do that one. I do. But I might not be ready to do it just yet. So this, it says, I'm a sociopath and I'm on the road to recovery or something. Yeah, on the road to recovery. Just kidding. I'm on my way to buy more fabric. Which is totally not the case because I'm not buying more fabric right now. So in going through my fabric, you guys, I pulled out all the big pieces of yardage. So this is all 1 yard or larger for sure. So the 1 yard or larger for sure, I stopped counting at 175 pieces of fabric. So I had 200 boards, so I have ordered an additional 200 magazine boards for those big pieces. That is a lot of work, but I know Tammy can do it, yes. Yeah, but that Halloween project one. Do you guys want to see embroidery? Do you guys want me to do machine embroidery on? My dog made noises, sorry. Do you guys want to see machine embroidery? Because, I mean, I could do it. That's what that Halloween one is. And it's been on a back burner for a while. A long while. Over 7 years? Over 7 years. So is the Lifetime Achievement Project. Oh, I also have my 365-day quilts. So I will have to look at the pattern for it. The 365-day quilt is a pattern put out. I can't remember the author's name, so don't shoot the messenger, please. I've seen a couple people complete theirs, but I have not yet done mine. I've not yet completed mine, but every block is something different. And mine is all in blacks, whites, and reds. I got the pattern and counted the pieces for one block, and I hung up the towel. I hear ya. I love machine embroidery. I think it is so relaxing watching patterns stitch out. Okay, well that might make the choice on that then. Sure, I've been thinking about buying an embroidery machine. Okay. Well, what I will probably do is I will do those as compilation videos because it's really hard to talk over an embroidery machine. And for the majority of the time, you are literally just sitting there watching the machine do its thing. You're not interacting with it. You're not guiding it or doing anything fancy with it. So if I do that project as my UFO choice, if I choose that one as my UFO choice, okay, well, I think everybody is speaking that they like that idea. So those will be time-lapse videos, or those will be videos, you know, where I set the machine up and have the camera watching it or whatever, and then I come back and narrate it. That may be what I do for the machine embroidery ones. Because there's a lot of designs left. I don't know that I have all the fabrics still left, so we're going to have to see what I've got. But I will pull it out and we will see. I do have a Dear Jane quilt top started. I have not gotten very far. Silly me thought hand stitching was going to be fabulous and was a great idea. And I'm really not into hand stitching as much as I thought I wanted to be. But I do now have the EQ thing, or there's like a bonus pack or something that you can buy for electric quilt software that has all the Dear Jane blocks. So I think combining that with what I've already got started, that I could make the Dear Jane quilt happen as well. And it's all in pastels. I figured, right, there's 1,920 pieces. Yes, Dear Jane by hand. I started it. I might have 5 blocks done. I'm way behind. It was a pipe dream, if we want to call it that. It was, you know how you get too much food on your plate at the buffet and you go sit down and you can't eat it all because your eyes are bigger than your stomach? My eyes were bigger than my hands could handle. And it was sad. It was really sad about me choosing to do yeah, I agree, Chloe, it is a bunch. What was sad about me choosing to do a Dear Jane by hand is it's not my first time trying to do a hand-sewn project. So I willingly walked into that, eyes open, and still made the choice to try to do it. But I would like to reclaim the bag it's all in. I have all the fabrics for my Dear Jane. My 365-day quilt, they're kind of dispersed a little bit now. That one's not as old as some of my other ones. My Dear Jane is not as old. Let's see, the oldest ones that I've got is my Lifetime Achievement quilt, which it's not going to be called Lifetime Achievement once it's completed. But I kind of said it because it is a very technique-heavy quilt. It is not traditional in any shape, form, fashion. But I don't have all the tools I need because I found a different way to do it and a better way to do it, and I may have to buy more fabric for it. Don't tell my husband. Let's see. EPP Grandma's Flower Garden in the works. I love hand stitching. Okay. So I did have, I won't say that I do have it anymore. I did a couple of hexie projects and I loved them. However, when you are sitting there cutting lots of different style shapes and pieces, it's a lot more tedious than cutting the same shape and sewing the same shape repeatedly. I do have a hand piece project that will still be hand pieced once I eventually get it done. But it is, do I even have it? I'm looking to see if I see where the case is for it. I know what case it's in. It is not in reach, but it is in here somewhere. You know what? I think it's in there too. I have an octagon piece, and it is all English paper piecing. So I do know how to do it, and I don't mind doing it. I just don't do as much handwork as I used to, and it's going to take a while to put together. So it is what it is. My grandma taught me pretty much everything I know, so I wanted to do it in her memory. That is sweet. That is very sweet. I do have a yo-yo quilt. You know how yo-yo quilts aren't really quilts because they don't have 3 layers. I had a yo-yo quilt that my sister-in-law salvaged, and she wants it made into something, and I have no idea what to make it into. So if you guys have any suggestions, I'm open to suggestions. I'll have to post photos of it, but we will get to that point eventually. All right. Yeah, Grandma Flower Gardens are gorgeous. I love them. All right, I can't trim the extra thread, because I am not able to reach my scissors. Okay, so the binding is 100% on with the label on the back. And so now this quilt is ready to be washed. We always wash our quilts. Sometimes some of these fabrics are not pre-washed when we get them, so they may end up bleeding, and we do not want a veteran to receive a quilt that is going to bleed heavily. We want it, if it's going to bleed a little bit, that's one thing, but if it's going to bleed heavily, we want to fix it before the veteran sees it and before the veteran has to deal with it. All right, so that is this quilt bound. So, and yes, I will fold it up later, but it's going to be washed anyway, so it's not getting folded before it gets washed. Let's see, I live in Arizona, so I work in my EPP in the summer because crocheting in Afghan is 115 just isn't going to happen. I understand that concept. It's Kennedy. I don't really like hand sewing, but I really find using the Ripper relaxing. Yes, absolutely. So the next thing that I'm going to be working on when I can come back to the machine, using the Ripper stresses me out. Yeah. There are days that the Ripper is very satisfying, and then there are days that it is very stressing. So you have my vote on both. 115 degrees, yes. That is, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Like 103 is my limit, but it needs to be dry heat. I can handle 103 in dry heat, but that's like totally my limit. Awesome. So I am going to finish working on this. I am going to pull back out my prismatic star because I do have my sashing fabric, but it needs to be pressed and then cut and then the sashing reattached. So that is kind of a work in progress as well. So I've got a lot of quilts on my plate right now, but first and foremost, I've got to get things moved out of that storage closet. So what I've got that my computer is sitting on right now is a four shelf storage shelf unit. And then I'm going to have another shelving unit behind me, so things will get moved forward a little bit. When I don't have to worry about opening or closing this door, then that's a lot easier on the ability for me to do a lot of other things. I am also going to be running my cables differently, so I don't have cables stretched all across the studio. So we are making some transitions. So I'm hoping by next week we will be at a point to do more with it. And so we're going to do Sew and Tell next week. Then after Sew and Tell, I will be getting back to this for sure. I may have the other quilts quilted by then as well and do a binding tutorial. But do not forget. If you are not already in the Facebook group and you want to join, do !group or click the link for the Facebook group in the description. Also, so there is a post, it should have gone up about 20 minutes ago on the Facebook group. Let me make sure that it is there. Let's take a look. Did it go up? All right, somebody asking about something else. And we've got a welcome to new. Let me refresh. Let's just refresh. Make sure you guys have the post up. There it is. Okay, there is a, and we are going to do pinned to featured. Okay, so it does say in the Facebook group, post your pictures for the April 2nd sew in, tell, show here, or put sew and tell in your description when you post, and get your entries in before 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. That way I have enough time to get everything into one format, so I'm not scrolling through, possibly showing people something that nobody wanted to see, or not everybody didn't want to show. So if you do not post with sew and tell in the comments, or in the description, or you don't post it in the comment section of my post, the pinned post, it will not get shown. Okay? If you need to email me during a live chat, do exclamation email, and it will give you the email link. It should also be on my YouTube profile page, where my email address is going to be, so you guys can email me. You can also, that's if you're not in the Facebook group. If you are in the Facebook group, you can post anonymously, so it will not show your name when you post, and that is perfectly fine. All right, let's see what I'm missing. Good job, Alabama. Thank you. Arizona, 115 degrees. That's hot. Yes, very nice quilt. Laura. Last summer, we had more than a month of 110 plus temps. It was brutal. Oh, gosh. I can just imagine. I'm extremely thankful I don't have any kind of heat. Yeah, I can agree. It's Kennedy. Laura, I can't imagine being that hot. Kennedy, I agree with you. It's kind of like winter anywhere else. We stay in the air conditioning or go out very early in the morning or after the sun is down. We had very little humidity. Gotcha. Finally, quilting. I would like to see embroidery and English paper piecing. I can't promise I'm going to do the English paper piecing on camera. Not yet. That may be a little bit down the road. I mostly have high 90s here in the summer. Yep. Humidity is really hard for me to handle. Laura, that's actually why I moved to Wyoming. I was living in Alabama, and that's why I get called Alabama in the chat. I moved here from Alabama to get away from the humidity. It was literally wreaking havoc on my joints. It was causing my joints to swell more than they should, more than would be normal for my disorders. And it was causing me so much fatigue that getting up, getting a shower, and doing anything else for the rest of the day was out of the question. Just to give you a kind of like side-by-side comparison, before I had my infusion 2 weeks ago, I was pretty stinking awful. Like, it was bad. I was hurting a lot, couldn't do it as much. Taking a shower and having done a live the same day would have been too much. So I did not shower the day of my live. I showered the day before and did absolutely nothing for the rest of the day and then the day of. So, I have to budget my energy levels. Now that I've had my infusion, it's still working right now. I'm having a lot more pain than my last round, so it's not working as good as it did before. But I did have a shower earlier today. I've done some moving things around today, and I'm having my live and was able to bind a quilt. So I am able to handle a little bit more with my infusion. But if I were still dealing with the humidity, it would be off the table. It would not have been an option. Andrea said, this is exciting to me. It sounds like you have a whole bunch of fun planned for us. Of course I do, Andrea. Of course. We've got to have fun, okay? This is my community here. I live in Wyoming. Also, Kennedy. Yes, she does. No hot or cold, or no cold or hot. Need it to be just right, 80 degrees. Now, Glenda, I will disagree with you there. If it is above 70 degrees inside a building, I am hot. I burn up and I'm stripping down. So I mean, it's 38 degrees outside and I'm wearing t-shirts. So, I can't do the multiple layers inside. Laura says, I moved from Iowa to Arizona because of my health as well. I'm sorry the infusion isn't working as well this time. Yeah, I do have an appointment though, so we are good. We're going to get back good on that. Joy said, good night, Timmy, and everyone. God bless. Absolutely. Chloe's also saying good night. As Kennedy says, oh, well, I couldn't do Iowa either. Yes. No, I couldn't either. All right, so I am going to get off of here, you guys. Make sure to check out the Facebook group. Make sure to watch for community, I cannot talk to save my life today, you guys. Make sure to watch for posts in the community tab of my YouTube channel. I am going to post, if I get to go live this Saturday or this Sunday, I will post it there. If I go live Saturday, it's going to be Saturday evening. Don't know yet. Don't have anything for certain on that. But if I do go live Sunday, I will post it in the community tab in advance so you guys know to expect me there. And we're going to see what I've got done, where I'm at. We may not even sew. We may just be folding fabric, but I bring you guys along for the ride. But thank you so much for being here. Please do not miss out next week. Next week is super important. So thank you for being here. You guys have a great evening. Enjoy dinner if you haven't already had it. And I will see you next Tuesday night. Bye.